And we made it to the halfway point. It is day 25 of 50 Days of Fitness. I have my coffee. And honestly, it's not even a month. In some ways, it seems like we've been doing this for an awfully long time. But it's been 25 days and we have 25 more. And it's going to be kind of funny because as we get along, it's suddenly going to seem like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're almost done. And it will seem like we just started. Lately, I don't know. I've been craving funny things lately that I never expected. I've been craving Diet Coke. I don't know. I don't really drink much of that anymore. Occasionally, a few times a year. But normally I don't have that, and I haven't had it in, probably I had some in January, so it's been probably more than 2 months, and I don't know, I just have been craving Diet Coke, which is kind of a curious thing. Instead of sugar or ice cream or one of those things, it's Diet Coke, but who knows. Everything else, it was kind of hard to tell today on the scale. It was kind of going back and forth. I don't know what to call it. I'm going to keep calling it 205 for now. I think by next Tuesday, which Tuesdays are kind of, in my book, since those are the ends of weeks, kind of the official weigh-in for me, I think, every week. So we'll see where we are next Tuesday and kind of see what we're doing. But it's been very steady almost for a week now at 205. And that's kind of it. I am struggling a little bit. My mom and my brother and sister-in-law are going out on Tuesday with some friends. They want me to come with them to the restaurant. And I got to tell you, I want to go, and I told them I would go, but, with the sugar fast and everything and all the stuff with the diet, it kind of makes me nervous. It's like, I don't know what I can eat, and then you're in this awkward social situation where it's like, oh, have some chips. Oh, have this stuff. It's like, no, so I'll live through it. So, well, I wonder how it's going for you guys, if you all are following along, if you're doing this. It occurred to me today, I've been telling people that we're shooting for 4 to 6 sets a day, which is what I've been doing. I've done 4 pretty much every day. I did my first set today, with the exception of one day when I did 5. And I do think that's what we should shoot for. But that said, if you are starting over and this is brand new to you, I would still like to say 4 to 6 is probably what we would like, but even once a day, once a day is better than not at all. I know that I get caught in that mind trick sometimes where I think, well, if I can't even run 3 miles, why should I even, run? If I can't even do this, why should I even try? And the fact of the matter is even if you do one set, that's better than not at all. So I hope nobody is skipping because they think, well, I don't think I can do 4 today. Go ahead and do what you can, and don't worry about it. And it'll come along. So I was trying to decide a little bit about what to talk today. I thought I'd talk a little bit about yoga. Like everything else, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not a dietitian. And I'm not a yoga teacher. I have gone to a number of yoga classes over the years. I've never been someone who was like a weekly kind of guy or twice a week kind of guy or anything like that, but I would go. And so I learned a little bit about yoga. And one of the things I want to say about yoga is the same thing with the other. It's like, some people go and they do yoga every day, or some people do it 2 or 3 times a week. Even if you only do it once a week, you will benefit from it. And yoga, if you've not done really much yoga before, I think when you first get started, it feels a lot like it's just sort of stretching. And stretching is part of it, but it can actually be a very strenuous activity. As you progress, it can become more and more challenging. And if you look around, some of the people who are, say, yoga instructors, and they may teach yoga daily or something like that, and they may not do any other exercise, and they are very fit. If you look at them, you can see that they are very, very fit. So yoga is a really good exercise for that. I would say I was doing it for a while. In addition to not having enough activity, I also had a lot of body aches and pains, and some of that it felt really good to kind of do some stretching. And so for a while, a year or two ago, I was doing that every morning when I got up. I would do a little bit of a yoga session, just trying to increase my mobility so that I didn't get so locked up from inactivity. And I would do that every day. And so I guess if you've not done yoga and you want to try it out, I would say that's a really good thing to do. It's a good exercise in and of itself. And now one thing I will say is I don't know if it's as popular as it used to be, but there were a lot of people that were doing like hot yoga. And I assume that that's still going on. I don't know. But hot yoga, I would say that should be for a more advanced person. You should be doing yoga for a while, I would say, before you do that. The reason for that is, there's a couple of reasons. One reason is you kind of have to adapt to the heat. It takes some time to adapt to the heat. If you don't, you can have a problem. Your body can get overheated, and you can have a health issue from that. The second thing is that heat tends to shut down your pain sensors. And so that's one of the things where some people will get injured when they're doing activities like that, because the heat causes their pain sensors to be dampened. I won't say that you don't feel it at all, but your sense of pain is really dampened. And so with that, people sometimes, you feel like you can stretch more and you can do more, and the heat kind of encourages that. And that is true, but the other side of that is if you're going too far, if you're in a motion or something that maybe is damaging to you, your sense of pain may be dampened and you may not realize it. And so it's one of those things, I would say, that it's better to be a little more advanced before you start getting into something like hot yoga. But I would say that yoga is a really good exercise, and it's something that just about anybody would benefit from at really pretty much any age also would benefit from it. I really have never done any of the chair yoga kind of classes. I've seen people talk about them. So I don't have firsthand experience about that, but I would think that would also be something, if you were someone with limited mobility, the full thing of yoga maybe is beyond your capabilities, but maybe you could do the chair yoga. I would say that you would probably benefit from it. So yoga, I guess I'm just saying, thumbs up for yoga if that's something you want to try. And I think that sometimes people don't really think about that as an exercise to get you back into shape. They think about it as an exercise that maybe increases flexibility or something like that. And maybe they don't even necessarily think about it as exercise. But I'm going to disagree. That is a perfectly reasonable and rational and effective way to get back into shape is with yoga. So, I hope that doesn't mean that you shut off this camera and don't watch the last 25 days. You go off to yoga and say, hey, the earn your coffee was fine, but I'm going to go do yoga the rest of the time. You can do both. You can do both of these. Those are my thoughts on yoga. I'm a believer in yoga. I think it's good for you. I think it will strengthen you. It will improve your flexibility. It makes you feel good. It really does. And so I'm a believer in yoga. So, if you are having other things and you think maybe I should try yoga, hey, that maybe is a really good idea. You might give it a shot. See what you think. All right. We're going to call it a day for day 25, and we cross the halfway mark right now when we end this, and then tomorrow is day 26. Actually, tomorrow is Sunday as I'm filming this, and so tomorrow will also be Bump It Up Sunday, and we'll talk about that tomorrow on day 26 of 50 Days of Fitness. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye.